this show, the Miracle Hour show. Now, that show is produced by the UK World Evangelical Trust. We have got in touch with the TV channel. We've emailed, called, left messages, done everything we can to reach them repeatedly this morning. They have not responded at all. They have, though, issued a statement to another news organisation saying, if God heals you, please make sure you go to your doctor to certify that you have been healed or have been made whole, and let your doctor give you a clearance on this very matter. Also, when it comes to your children, if your children are sick and we pray for them, that does not remove you from going to your doctor. Our prayer is to offer a prayer of faith, but the medical people satisfy that people are truly healed. Let's talk now to Martin Campbell, who's the former Ofcom chief advisor. Martin, thanks for joining us. Now, that statement says really exactly what Francis is saying he wants them to say, but that's not what they're saying on air. Should this television programme be allowed to go out on British broadcasting?
Well, the clue, I think, to the regulatory problem is in the title of the programme, really, the Miracle Hour. I mean, if that's not going to give problems, then I don't know what is. I mean, if I haven't seen them do this, I've only read reports and heard what you've said today. And if that is what has happened on TV, then yes, it breaks the broadcasting code, and they could well be fined and so on. But I mean, there are two. It raises questions in two areas, really, Julia. One is the content of the TV channels, and the other is the actual sort of licensing regime. I mean, as far as the content is concerned, there are just so many channels now. It is a real problem. And there's a school of thought that says that Ofcom, I know Ofcom have come in for some criticism here, that they tend to go for the easy hits. I know there was press coverage of psychic channels having deemed to have broken rules this week. They're pretty easy targets. The Babe channels, they come in for scrutiny too. They're pretty easy targets. But alongside these channels are dozens of other minority channels now, changing and coming on day by day, putting out stuff day and night that doesn't seem to appear on the regulatory radar. And that is, I think, a problem. Some of this stuff is sort of going out unfettered.
And indeed, I mean, given the very incredibly strict rules that govern what, for instance, I can say here on air. I mean, for instance, if I had recorded this interview with you before we came on air, I wouldn't be allowed to say, and here's Martin Campbell now. I'd have to say, as I would, I spoke to Martin Campbell earlier, because that would be lying on air. And there are so many strict rules about what we can and cannot say, what we can and cannot claim. It's extraordinary that someone can claim something that has no, and I'm sorry, I know people are going to be upset by this, it has absolutely no verification in the real world or in the medical or scientific world at all.
Well, it is extraordinary if it's gone on as long as these reports appear to have claimed it is. But it is, it's probably the tip of the iceberg as far as finding out what channels are doing, because there are so many. And now, of course, you've got IPTV, where the traditional channels and the internet channels are effectively blurring into one. And that's not an easy proposition for Ofcom to deal with. But, I mean, yes, if you're talking in terms of, have they broken rules, then yes, they certainly have broken rules if what is being said is something that they have done.
Indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. That's Martin Campbell. He's a former Ofcom chief advisor. As you said, so many channels now. Kate's quite a big problem.